me the question this week of why do I choose to be drug-free in a sport where PED use is rampant? So PED use, drug use, talking about steroids. I found this question very difficult to answer that I got set from Bryson. The reason is I don't want it to come across as if I'm bashing anyone that does choose to use PEDs or anything of the sort. Now, the reason I choose to stay drug free is a personal one, and there is a stigma associated with PED use and drug use in the sport of powerlifting or strongman or bodybuilding, all those sorts of things. And you know, the stigma is, in my view, popularised by people that are clueless, and you know, it's their first weekend in the gym, and then they decide that, oh, I'm going to the gym now, I need to do this, this and this, and they think it's part of the normal process and the way they should behave if they're going to the gym. Now, that I have an issue with, and the reason is they're misinformed and they're miseducated. You know, at least get some knowledge, some education, some knowledge of your training, form, technique, nutrition, recovery, and all those sorts of things first, and spend a couple years at least in the gym before you decide to go down that road. Because for me, any decision like that, a big decision like that, needs to be an informed decision. And anyone, wherever you sit on this kind of argument, will probably agree with me there. I think it's very, very important that if you choose to do something like that, you need to be well informed, and you kind of need to know what you're getting yourself into. It's a choice, and I've chosen to stay drug free, but that doesn't necessarily mean that anybody who hasn't has done anything wrong at all. That's their choice. You know, I think Louis Simmons once said it, and he said something like, who are you to judge me and who am I to judge you? Your morals are your morals and my morals are my morals. And to be fair, that's very, very true in this case. Now, I choose to stay drug free because A, it reflects on my clients, you know, that they could achieve what I have without, you know, anything other than nutrition, recovery, good training, sensible, you know, mobility and whatever, and all these different things that is very much the ball's in their court. You know, for me, the IPF is the most well recognised federation and the one that potentially will be getting the Olympics. So I want to stay with a good, clean, you know, governing body for a sport that one day, you know, I'd love to be able to represent GB for the IPF and know that I've done it, you know, through the right means. So that's probably reason number 2. Reason number 3 is I would want to know that what I was putting in to my training, i.e. recovery, sleep, you know, am I ever good enough to represent GB against all these other drug tested lifters? You know, would I ever be strong enough? And I quite like kind of leaving that on the table and kind of forcing myself to just, you know, if stuff's going bad, then look at the overall picture, work harder, you know, recover better, eat better, you know, nourish your body, nourish your brain, treat your training like practice, and just get better at what you do. Again, I'm not judging anyone that uses, you know, drugs, PEDs, because it's important to realise that you don't just take something and instantly become a world record holder. That's just not how it works. You know, the strongest guys in the world are the strongest guys in the world, and you know, guys that compete in different federations, non-drug tested federations, they are super, super strong, and they would be, you know, just as competitive, I'd imagine, if they were drug tested and they, you know, had chosen to stay drug free. Now, again, I can't make this point enough. I'm not judging anyone who decides to do it. I'm just simply saying that for me, I choose to be drug free because I think more than anything, I'm going to be able to be more consistent with that throughout the longevity of my career. I would not want to start fooling around with substances that would potentially, you know, give me ups and downs. You know, I have good and bad training weeks enough as it is. I wouldn't want to have to throw other things into the mix that would give me more up and downs. Yeah, and I just think it's easier long term for me, psychologically especially, to just kind of ride it out and try and make things as consistent and as predictable as possible. And you know, staying drug free kind of does that. You don't have any, you know, spikes and drops in hormones or anything like that. And I probably sound like an idiot to this side of the community, and apologies if I do, because I don't really know enough about it to explain what I mean well enough. It's not a massively constructed or well arranged argument right now, and you know, the biggest thing is it's a choice, and as long as you're educated in your decision, I don't intend or don't want to make any, you know, judgments upon anyone. That's not my remit, and I have no intention of doing that. You know, this is always a very, very controversial topic, and I don't think it should be as stigmatized as it is. You know, especially in powerlifting, you have a choice, and that choice is either, you know, you stay drug free or you don't. You know, and if you choose to use PEDs, then you can compete against other people who choose to use PEDs, and that's not an issue, and nobody's judging you. You know, as long as you're open and honest about the fact, you know, that's that, and that's fine. And nobody really cares in that community. But the problem is the stigma associated. Everybody else, they all seem to think, you know, people like to tar people with the same brush, and that's just not the case. You know, I am pro information and pro education. I'm not pro or against steroids. I choose to stay drug free, and that's a choice, but I'm not judgmental of people that are educated and have chosen to go down that road. And I think that's a really, really important thing to strong home as well, is that, you know, nobody will judge you if you're educated and you're smart about your choices, and you know, that's a choice. As long as you're not trying to cheat the system. As far as I'm aware, of people that I know in the powerlifting community, you know, if people compete in a different federation to you, that's no big deal. Like, but people do get annoyed in the IPF when people fail drug tests, because you've cheated, and you've cheated against people that have decided to stay drug free, and that's not cool. So I suppose that's where I kind of get annoyed at people, is when they choose to go against the protocols and basically try and cheat, because you haven't just cheated, you know, against the federation, you've cheated against everyone that you shared the platform with. And he was a junior 105 guy, a really nice guy called Harvey that I met, who was part of Team Wales, and he got second, and he went there and got the silver medal, and he was happy and whatever. But the guy who came first was later done for PED use. And the thing is Harvey, who came second, is never going to get the opportunity, or he won't be able to repeat that moment to get his gold medal. You know, he might get the gold medal in the male, but you know, that's not the same as standing on the podium and winning it on the day. And those people that take away those opportunities from the rightful winners, I don't really like. Well, not like, but I think, you know, like, what a dick move. That's not fair, and you've taken away someone's genuine opportunity, who was clean, or is clean, should I say, to win that gold. And that's not fair, and that's not cool. Especially, you know, I like to think of the powerlifting community as brothers in arms a little bit, and we all kind of, you know, we share the platform, and we warm up together, and everyone's competing against themselves more than they're competing against anyone else. And if you leave that place with a load of PRs, then awesome, you've had a great day, and you've got to meet a load of great people in the process. And I think that's the important thing to, you know, to do. And I think you've really kind of cheated on that whole ideal if you decide to cheat against your fellow drug-free powerlifter.